So the naira finished a little bit sluggish, less than 0.1% against the dollar on the street on Market Street yesterday, but just a little bit tired of that. Just a bit stable at the I&E window. But what's the FX play in the current yield curve around the treasuries markets? Let's get Chukwuma Egbuche of FSDH Merchant Bank to talk to us from FMDQ Exchange Place in downtown Lagos. Chukwuma, good morning. It's good to have you on the show.
Hi, it's good to have you too.
Yeah, with all the smiles, I'm sure you folks are enjoying the yield curve at the treasury's place, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're doing our best.
All right, but so what role is FX playing here? It looks like the naira is not letting go of its position in any major direction whatsoever. No big gains, no major losses, trying to just hang in there in the middle, feeding the treasuries market.
Well, like you said earlier, if you take a look at what's happened in the I&E window, we have seen a reduction in the amount of flows, or rather turnover, seen in that market. So it is expected that that would signal what's also happening in the stock exchange market. So we've seen a limited amount of investors coming to the market so far.
Are investors getting a little bit lethargic? Is it due to any external factors, or are they just watching to see how Nigeria moves forward after the elections?
Well, you could say that, but I think everyone is trading with a bit of a caution. But then yet again, if you talk about what happened in the T-bills market, as at yesterday, we had the primary auction, which about 49 billion was offered. But then yet again, we had a total subscription of over 250 billion, with much of the demand skewed towards the longer end of the tenor. And at the end of the day, we saw stop rates drop by about 40 basis points.
So that's a measure of confidence, isn't it? If you want to read it.
Exactly. So yes, exactly.
Okay. So when investors come in with this, and of course I'm sure today is a bit of a repayment. So how do you think the regulator will balance things out this Thursday?
Okay, like you said, we have maturing OMO. We have OMO maturities totaling about 121 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And just before I came on, I heard CBN has already flooded in another OMO auction of what, over 200 billion. So that is expected to clear the amount of liquidity in the system at the moment. And due to the events that happened at the auction yesterday with the unfulfilled demand, we expect that to spill into the secondary market today. I mean, as of yesterday, we even had most market traders cherry picking on very good yields, especially towards the long end of the curve at the T-bills market.
Do you think the treasury bills rally, as it were, when it comes to the yield and the appetite for subscription will hold it steady for the debt office March auction, bond auction next week, 27th? Wednesday?
Yeah, that's expected to happen. So far, in the bonds market, we have seen the market trade flat. 2 weeks ago, we saw the DMO release a revised calendar on the auction. Initially, what was expected to be on offer was 100 billion of just two bonds, the 2023s and the 2028 bonds. But the revised calendar saw them include the 2025 and drop down the volume of the 28s from 50 billion to 20 billion. So, so far, since the trend has been flat with this new revision, we would expect much of the uptick to be around the short end of the curve, since we have much of the demand, or rather much of the volumes skewed towards that part of the curve.
Okay, looks like it's going to be a very interesting day today, as the central bank already knock some treasuries on the street, trying to rake in a bit of what is going to be the mature treasuries later. Thank you very much, Chukwuma Ebuche. We appreciate your time. FX dealer at FSDH Merchant Bank. Let's bring in equities into the conversation. It's the fourth trading day of the week, and looks like the stock market is still looking for a major direction. Let's see if Temple Ashajo has an idea where the equities market really wants to go. Temple, do you have any idea where the market really wants to go? North, south, east or west?
Well, both in going by the position of the market indices we're seeing right now, the market might go northwards today. Don't forget, we've seen 5 consecutive sessions of losses, and that looks like the losses on a couple of stocks here, or major medium to large size stocks here, may have bottomed out, and that might also give room for some equity investors to come back into the market, whether domestic or foreign portfolio investors, because the belief around here is that the whole 173% rise in transaction at the I&E window that you saw yesterday was as a result of the exit of some foreign portfolio investors. So right now, a couple of investors have seen room to actually make re-entry on some of the names that you have in the market. I'll give you an example. Cadbury was one of the key companies that actually lost yesterday. But right now in early trades, Cadbury is rising some 10%, and we've also seen that a couple of other banking names have also continued to rise. Banking names that have lost a lot in some past 4, 5, 6 sessions have actually been regaining in the market. Fidelity and FCMB, some of these, a few of these companies. But Access Bank, given the drivers around that particular company right now, continues to maintain its momentum. It was yesterday the top most traded company in the market, and the way the market is going right now, it's the second most actively traded company in the market. So you put all these together, and the fact that we're seeing the banking segment of the banking sector rising some 0.31%, the consumer goods marginally flat right now, 0.01% upwards, and of course oil and gas rising some 0.25%, given the rise that we saw on O&O yesterday, that momentum being sustained. When you square all of that up, the market is likely to close positively today. If you look at the industrial segment of the market as well, it's we've got Dangote Cement rising some 0.05% earlier, and that has also changed the position of the sectoral indices, making it look positive right now. So if this momentum eventually becomes sustainable, then market will close in the northward direction, Bosun.
Yes, Tempo. But again, this news as we wrap it up, that Airtel, according to some reports, that Airtel Nigeria is already in talks with the Nigerian Stock Exchange and the SEC for a possible listing by introduction. This is quite interesting, isn't it? Has seen its main rival, MTN Nigeria, looking close to a listing by introduction and perhaps an IPO a little bit later. Airtel seems to now want to, well, in the manner of speaking, get into the exchange, perhaps before MTN does, and so at least one of them is trying to be the one to be the curtain raiser for the big telcos on your marketplace.
Bosun, I can bet, and I know you so well, I know you can also bet, that a lot of traders will be very, very interested in the listing of Airtel in this market. Let them come in, whether by way of IPO or by way of introduction, in any manner that Airtel comes into this market, it will be broadly accepted by a lot of the traders.
Most likely.
They won't really trade on it.
Yes, I'm sure.
The segment of this market is really not active.
I don't know. If MTN comes, it's going to be a lot of yellow around the stock exchange, but I'm sure if it's Airtel, most likely it's going to be the Gele. I'm sure it's going to have a whole lot of Gele around there. And of course, everybody's going to wear Gele that day. If you put that one up there, where you are right now is going to be touching the ceiling.
Around Airtel.
Exactly. So maybe a lot of Gele on Custom Street. If Airtel makes a listing, they'll see whose Gele is going to be the tallest that day. Maybe we'll think about something. But that's just not a promotion for anyone. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Tempo. Have a great day. Let's leave it there for today. And watch Airtel and MTN race to become the first big telco to be listed on the Nigerian stock market. And on that day, we're going to be here to take it all live for you. Have a good day, everyone. Sit back. Let's have a good Friday tomorrow, shall we? TJIF, 24 hours. We'll be right back. Thank you, and goodbye from Lagos.